When you think of making passive income, you probably picture yourself doing a couple hours of work a day from a beach in Mexico while cashing 5-figure checks every month. Did I get it right? Well, despite how absurd this daydream may sound, this lifestyle is attainable with the right passive income strategy in place. Sadly, most people never enjoy this desirable lifestyle, but you're not like most people because you're about to learn exactly how you can develop passive income with no initial investment and get one step closer to fulfilling all of your wildest passive income dreams. Well, I hate to say it, most people's perception of passive income is completely wrong. For instance, some people think that passive income is a way of making money with little to no effort required. In other words, you make money for doing nothing. Then there are those that understand that there's no such thing as a free lunch and think that earning any money passively is impossible. Both of these people are wrong, and as someone who's built a 6-figure passive income business, I can tell you that it does take a lot of work and that it can also be extremely lucrative. The best part though is that this dream can facilitate the 4-hour work week lifestyle most people dream about. You can travel the world and enjoy life doing the minimal amount of work, but getting to this point does take time. Nothing worth having comes overnight, except for maybe the gifts Santa brings you for Christmas. The point I'm getting at here is that if you were serious about making passive income, you can't delude yourself by believing all the false success stories you hear online. Most of these so-called gurus who tell you can make $10,000 passively by next month aren't even making this kind of money themselves, and yet they're trying to teach you how to become wealthy. Well, I believe in transparency. To make passive income, you need to work hard, stay focused, and deploy a proven strategy that will generate the income you desire, which we will get into more right now. As you probably know, there are many ways to develop passive income. You can invest in real estate, collect dividend income, and the like. While these means of generating passive income do work well, they aren't exactly suited for those starting out with little money to their name. Fortunately, thanks to the wealth of knowledge that exists online, building a passive income model is entirely possible, and it won't take you any money to get started. As such, I'm going to share with you the step-by-step approach I use to build a 6-figure passive income business from scratch that you can copy to do the same. Step number 1, select a remote skill. If you've learned anything over the last 2 years, it's that there's a fragility in making money in person. As such, when starting your quest to make passive income, you're going to want to identify a skill that you can offer online. This skill can be anything from video editing to graphic design or even copywriting. When I was first starting out, I decided upon video animation. I chose video animation for 2 reasons. First, the skill interested me, which made learning and then offering this service all the more enjoyable. This is an aspect of making money online few people talk about, but you can make money and have fun at the same time. Second, offering video animation services is a lucrative way to make money online, which is key to living out your passive income dream. Now, you don't have to develop the same skill I have, but you do need to choose one you can do completely online. This means that you must be able to do everything from finding the client to delivering the final product online without having to physically meet anyone. I can't stress this point enough because this is the only way that you can turn this skill into a passive income machine that you're looking to build. Step number 2, develop your remote skill. At this point, you should have selected a skill that not only interests you, but you've validated can be lucrative as well. Now, the real work begins. During this step, what you're going to do is commit to learning this skill. In my experience, developing the most high quality remote skills will take you anywhere between 3 to 6 months, but obviously these timelines will vary depending on how much time you're willing to commit on a monthly or weekly basis. What worked for me when developing my skills in animation was to commit 5 hours a week to learning and cultivating my skill by scheduling this time into my calendar because, as the saying goes, failing to plan is planning to fail. Now, one of the questions I get all the time when teaching people how to generate passive income through a remote skill is, won't I have to pay to learn all this stuff? And the answer is no. Trust me, if I can get through a master's degree simply by using the information that exists online, you can build a 5-figure passive income system using the same resources. For instance, YouTube literally has hour-long tutorials on how to learn just about any skill out there, and when supplementing with free blog posts and guides online, the only thing stopping you from cultivating a lucrative remote skill is your commitment to learning. Step number 3, put your skill to work. Once you've developed a reasonable level of proficiency in your new skill, what you're going to want to do is take the next few months to work as a freelancer. Obviously, the income you're going to be making by doing this won't be passive in nature, and that's okay. Completing this step is important for 3 main reasons. First, it will validate whether or not you've gained a reasonable amount of proficiency in your skill as your clients start to give you feedback on your work. Second, you'll start making money, which is never a bad thing. Finally, and most importantly, you'll keep that hunger for passive income alive as you are constantly reminded that earning active income isn't all it's cracked up to be. In fact, if right now you feel like making some extra money would significantly improve your life, then hit that like button below. To start putting your skill to work, you're going to need to find clients to work with. The skill of acquiring new clients is arguably the most important skill to possess in this passive income approach, given that if you can't sell your services, you will never make money. Now, there are two primary approaches to gaining new clients, so I'll start with the easier of the two and then move on to the others. So when you're just starting out, what I recommend is that you leverage online freelance platforms like Upwork and Fiverr to acquire your first set of clients. This will allow you to start gaining client experience in the least amount of time, while also understanding how these platforms actually work. In fact, these platforms are going to be essential in generating the passive income you aim to make down the road, so the importance of this step cannot be overlooked. Generally speaking, acquiring work through these platforms involves reviewing open projects on the platform and applying to work on them as a freelancer. You can think of this process kind of like applying for a job, only there's no formal interview. Instead, clients usually ask you for samples of work and if you can meet the demands of their project. While this is by far the easiest way to start getting freelance clients, there is a major downside that cannot be overlooked, and it's a fee structure. Sites like Upwork take a sizable amount of your total billings, and while this won't be super impactful to you as someone working in this capacity for only a short time, it's good to be aware of all the realities that come along with this means of client acquisition. The other method of acquiring clients is through cold outreach. Cold outreach in sales is a process of reaching out to prospective clients who you have yet to make any degree of connection with. Cold approaching these potential clients can include sending cold emails, messages, or even making phone calls. This is the opposite of another term called warm leads. The distinction between cold and warm in sales is pretty simple. Warm leads are contacts that already know who you are, what you do, and what you sell. They're almost ready to buy, or in this case, work with you, but they have some level of doubt what you'll need to resolve before you can move on with the sale. I'm going to be honest. Cold approaching prospective clients sucks and can be extremely frustrating when you send out hundreds of emails and make tens of phone calls without any success. However, one thing to keep in mind is that it only takes one approach to close a deal, and that deal could form the basis of a very profitable passive income business. Now, there's one vitally important factor that you must keep in mind when starting to work with clients. As a beginner in your field, you represent a risk to your clients. Why? Because you're asking them to put the success of their project in your hands when you have yet to build up a long history of work. This will naturally make getting clients a bit more difficult, but the good news is that where you lack in experience, you make up for in strategy. For instance, you can get a few testimonials from past clients if you already have done some work, or you can undercut your competition when it comes to your price. The second approach is, of course, going to make your time work less lucrative, but remember that you aren't taking on these clients to get rich, but to understand how the process works when offering highly desirable services to clients. Now that you understand how to get clients, let's talk about how you ensure you always have work coming in. Do you know the law of supply and demand? It's a principle in economics that dictates pricing in just about every market you can think of, such as the stock market, real estate, and relates to any product or service you've ever bought. Simply put, this rule explains the interaction between the buyers and sellers of a resource. There are three situations where this law can raise the price of a good or service. First, if demand goes up and supply remains constant, price will increase. Second, if supply goes down and demand remains constant, price will increase. Finally, if supply goes down and demand increases, price will certainly go up. This is a concept you absolutely must understand when running your passive income model for two main reasons. First, it will force you to keep demand in your services high, which we'll talk about in a moment. Second, it will force you to focus on keeping profitability high by never offering your services for less than what they are worth, which is going to be critical when I explain how you will turn this skill into one of the best passive income models out there. So speaking of keeping demand high, one mistake you're going to want to avoid when running your passive income model is only pursuing clients when you start to run out of work. This is like going to apply for a job as your boss is telling you you're about to be laid off. It's already too late. To make this income model a success, you must always ensure you have ample work to perform. And don't worry, it won't be you doing all the work in case you were wondering. Step number 4, build your team. Speaking of not doing all the work or really any work at all, let's talk about how you can use this remote skill to make money while you sleep. So once you've successfully honed your new skill and have a roster of clients, it's time to remove yourself from this process and build your passive income machine. To do this, you're going to start building a remote team that is going to do all the client work for you. Given you already have work on hand, determining what skill set your team members will need is easy. For instance, in video animation, I can align my client's need for a certain animation style to the skills of the freelancers I interview. The goal of this step of the process is to delegate every single piece of client work to qualified freelancers who have made it through your own vetting process while you collect the difference between what your client pays you and how much you pay your staff. Speaking of paying your staff, how do you know how much to pay them? Answering this question successfully is the most important element to making this business model work. If you pay them too much, then there won't be any profits left for you to enjoy. If you pay them too little, the work quality will likely be too low and you will lose all the clients you've worked so hard to acquire. The perfect cost structure is paying your freelancers enough to keep them happy while still meeting your desired profitability figures. Finally, once you have freelancers on your team who can do the work, you can outsource your sales efforts as well, meaning that all you need to do is collect your checks and enjoy making passive income with absolutely no initial investment. Hey, it looks like YouTube thinks this next video is the one that will change your financial life forever. Give it a watch and let's see if they're right.